an alert and it says, I think they named it like Howard or something, and it says Howard is stuck on a cliff. A cliff because of a little tiny step.
So this is a meme for one of those Roomba vacuum cleaners, one of the
Yes.
gadgets. That is so wild because I like gadgets to a degree, but like you, just like you, I don't need the top of the notch, like holy crap, it just squeaky came off the assembly line kind of a guy, because number one, you're going to run into some issues. Always, always. There's always going to be an issue somewhere where it won't work, or or there might be problems. We have to get a rebate or whatever it was called. But it's stuff like that. But let's talk about some of these gadgets. There's one that's called something I would never
I
really want.
sent you that meme
Oh.
cactus. And his name was Herbert, not Hubert.
Oh. The thing I'm referring to, and now see, this is something it wouldn't appeal to me. The quote nothing ear. Yes.
I don't know.
They're
I don't know.
they're supposedly they're wireless earbuds, and they're one of the most hyped new products in the tech scene right now. So these are like the biggest ones you want to have. It's even backed by like Tony Fadell. I've heard of that name, but I don't know who. Oh, he's the one who invented iPods. That's who
Yes.
it was. Casey Neistat, one of the YouTube's most revered vloggers. Oh, there's a free plug for you, buddy. There's a large talk about these things. I don't know. People are saying it's realistic aesthetic for the price. I mean, they say the quality is excellent. I guess it's supposed to be really good. £99 is what it costs in the UK. You could buy it right now from Amazon if you wish to for $169.
I mean, I wouldn't see myself buying these. Like I bought a pair of AirPods.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use them. I don't use earbuds that often. I use my headset for stream,
Uh-huh.
and the only time I use any other like earbuds is if I'm going to the gym. That's it.
The only time I ever used earbuds was when I was on live investigating at locations, because I don't bring what these would be called cans. If you're in the
Mm-hmm.
industry at the studios, they're called cans, and I don't wear the cans. They're too heavy. So if I like turn my
Yeah.
head, you can feel the shuffle off your head slightly. So you need precision, and you want to keep buds, you know. But as far as like me listening to music, I don't really do that. As a musician, I kind of keep my palate clean, my sound
Yeah.
earwave cleared, so I can write something myself and not say, "Oh, this sounds like rainy days," or it sounds like a song that everybody would know.
Yeah.
These, by the way, the impressive set of features that are included in these noise canceling ones, the nothing ears, they say quotes are their variable levels of noise cancellation. Okay, I like that. Water and splash resistance and customizable gesture controls on the earbuds themselves. So
Like what? If you tap it once, it'll pause. You wave your hand, it'll turn it up or down depending on which way you wave.
what happens if you give it the middle finger?
I don't know.
Now calling ex-girlfriend. One moment.
No, I didn't want to do that.
No, hang up, hang up. No, but
Speaking
yes.
of calling.
Okay.
Speaking of calling,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we know someone who has this. The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we do. Mm-hmm.
Now, personally, myself, this thing looks awesome, but I feel like we shouldn't be going back to flip phones.
I agree. I agree
Like,
100%.
I think it's really cool that it's a flip phone
Right.
with a touch screen.
My problem with this, and if I remember what it looks like, it's the double folded LCD screen, LED screen, whatever it is. But to me, like you just mentioned, and I agree with you 100%. Why are we going backwards instead of forwards?
I know, right?
I thought the thing was we had these big phones, these clunky phones. Then all of a sudden they turned into the flippy phones, which you still had to push.
Like the Motorola Razr.
Thank you. Yes. And then we start getting smaller phones. Like look at the iPhone. The early versions were smaller, compact. You could stick. I mean, that was their
The it
point.
phone. Yeah.
The point of the whole thing was to make it smaller, but more stronger, more better
Small
service.
and compact, so it's easier to fit in your pocket or your hand
Yes,
or a
right.
purse, but do everything that a computer can do.
Have you noticed now with technology, everything's starting to get bigger, but everything in foods is starting to get smaller.
Right?
Like a granola bar, for example, is like tiny now compared to what it was a year ago. What the hell
So
happened?
small you're dropping it.
I did. Luckily for me, it dropped on something
But
that's so golden.
this is the first foldable phone.
Checking for hair. Go on.
The first few itinerations of foldables were marred with reliability issues and huge price tags.
Mm.
But this phone is likely to cost as much on contract as the latest Apple phone or a Google device.
Ooh.
So, I mean, I've got the iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Right.
It's a pretty decent chunk of change, and I'm paying for it monthly through Verizon.
Ooh.
So, this phone actually seems a little bit cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
but it says there's no sacrificing on processing power or features to make a phone work at this price. The Flip 3 comes with an octa-core processor, plenty of RAM, and a 120 hertz display. Plus, it's waterproof.
120 hertz? Wow.
Yeah.
So right now that's better than my monitor I have for
Yeah,
my
right.
PC station here. Wow. Hmm.
The folding the phone will split the display in two.
Mm-hmm.
So you can sit it half folded like a laptop
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
on the table and watch videos.
Okay.
There's also a small screen on the back so you can see your notifications when the phone is folded.
Mm.
But we'll give it a few more months to see if there's any other hardware issues
Mm.
because it is still so new. No issues have been put out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, next thing they're going to be doing is foldable tablets.
I mean, why not, right? I mean,
I mean, if this is your kind of thing, you can get it for 949 pounds or Best
what?
Buy. Yeah. Best Buy has this phone for $799.99. Verizon is $999.99. This is $1,000 phone.
All right, you must be made of silver, or must have some kind of a silver
That's a
spoon.
pretty penny.
What the hell happened to phones? I remember phones that were like $150. Am I getting old now? What the hell happened to me, bunny? Is that my name? Hey? Dude, that's absolutely, that's just ludicrous. That's just, I don't know, dude. They make so much money. Oh, speak of stuff that I would not buy. What's your thoughts of, like, have you ever had a scooter in your lifetime or a motorcycle, or have you ever been on one?
I've had a scooter, never had
Hmm.
a motorcycle, never wanted one, never been on one.
So you don't
They're
want
scary.
your skin rubbed off if you fall off it while you're driving
No,
35 miles down the road.
I like my skin attached to me.
There's a Dab Motors. This is called the Concept E. Okay, it's there's the people they're it's so basically is how a lot of these companies now are more green, where they're kicking out the old fossil fuel burning machines and stuff like this. Okay, so they're trying to go green, electric, hydrogen, etc., etc. Is the electric equivalent? This bike is an electrical equivalent. Excuse me, electric equivalent of a 125cc motorbike, which that's pretty potent, believe it or not.
Pretty powerful.
You can ride this bad boy for a few hours in training and through a read of the highway code. The bike is reported to have a range of around 70 miles. So you can go about 70 miles to the charge up instead of fuel up, I guess. And it can go a top speed of 65 miles per hour, which is the equivalent to 104 kilometers for those bad boys who do metric. It's concept right now, Fufu, so it's not on the market. The price tag is TBH, to be or to be
TBD, to be determined.
that too. I would assume off the get go, if it's considered a green vehicle in the way it sits, 125 cc's isn't too bad. Will that get you on the freeways? No, but you can go on the main roads and stuff like that. Because 65 here in America, is it's just when you're letting off the gas and when you're on the freeway, because the freeways are 70 minimum mostly. There are some that are, they can go up as high as 80. I know up north, the further north, the more rural areas. I don't know, what's your speed limits down
there? Fast.
I'm talking about the ones that are posted, not your speeds, ma'am. Not the way you drive. Let me reiterate that, yes.
Posted, we have anywhere from 45 to 70.
Interesting.
Because it's hot here. Nobody wants to be out for longer than they have to.
Well, I know, like, out in the further western states, Wyoming and, where it's nothing but just you and the road, you can go as high, I think some go as far as 85 miles per hour, which is pretty damn fast considering, most cars, 90s cars or even 2000 cars, mostly they hit a max at about 110 or 120, which doesn't sound like much, but you figure if you're putting that much oomph and energy to your vehicle, that would be 136 kilometers an hour, by the way, 85 miles per hour. If you were to do that fast, you think you'd burn out the cylinders, but, for a car, I guess, or a bike that you want to get around, and if you want to just go from point A to point B, have at it, man. Have at it. It's not for me, though. It is not for the cacti.
What is your take on home theater systems, like surround sound systems?
I had a family member like 4 years ago when I went to their place. They had wireless surround sound. I loved it. And I've always said when I move out of this cardboard box into a bigger cardboard box, kind of like a hermit crab growing out of its shell, I want to get a surround sound. I think it would be great.
Okay. Well, Sony has a new speaker system that is designed for those that want to get serious home cinema sound without having to spend time and effort draping wires around the living room. Right away, I'm like, sign me up.
See, that would be something I would definitely use. Because if you've ever ran wires before, like subwoofer,
and then
to the mids,
had a surround sound system when I was a kid, and then there was wires everywhere.
Yep. It's difficult to run it up, then you have to hide it behind the couch or wherever it is.
Yep.
But see, depending on your
wall,
yes, yeah.
If you have pets, your wire's gonna have to be replaced multiple times. It's a nightmare.
Because Puss in Boots back there just wants to chew on this stuff.
Yep.
And so is the hamster.
But the HT-A9 system is essentially a set of 4 wireless speakers that talk to a control box plugged directly into your TV.
Ooh, now that's interesting.
All you have to do is place the speakers around you and let the setup, which echolocates from that little box that you plug into your TV.
Okay.
It uses echolocation for each speaker.
Oh, wow.
So it will automatically calibrate to you in your living room.
Oh, that would be cool. Now, see,
that would be amazing.
I always thought, but now, damn it, I should have copyrighted that years ago. I said that one time. I'm like, why don't we do it like bats do? Like if you're like marking something and like make it go, or not like that necessarily, but make a noise to the point where it's echoing, like it's figuring out or sensing where this point A to point B is and stuff like that. And it would be easier, just like
Yeah.
this. I mean, this is my idea, but I should have. Damn it, Sony.
Now, each speaker has a tweeter, which I'm guessing helps with the echolocation for the box,
Poor Tweety Bird.
a sub, and an up-firing speaker to power the full Dolby Atmos experience. Pair these with a Sony TV, and the system will also use your TV speakers to add to the sound.
Oh, so it mixes your original, because a lot of times you have to mute the
Yeah.
TV to hear full surround, because you got, it's like, what's the point of having your TV speakers when you bought all this equipment? See, that I was thinking about getting a sound bar, those sound bars for underneath your TV. Basically, kind of, instead of, like, if you, like me, kind of have speakers on the sides of the flat screen or on the back end, which is still bad.
Our speakers are on the back side of our TV, which is ridiculous.
Which is ridiculously silly. Then I could see, that. I mean, that's cool. Oh man, I'll have to look into those or something similar, because somebody's knocked that off or will knock it off, and it'll be a lot cheaper for the consumer.
Do you want to know the price?
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned.
Okay, for our European friends, 1,600 pounds.
Ooh.
And for us in the US, they are $1,799.99.
Only $1,800.
That's chump change. But yeah, those are pretty expensive surround sound systems.
17.
But it also seems really worth it though.
Okay,
if you want that good experience of a home surround sound cinema kit.
So let's do the math. 450. We'll say they're $450 each. Those speakers are $450 for each speaker times 4 would put you at $1,800.
The speakers, you have to have the box.
Ooh, chihuahuas.
Yep.
That'd be pretty rough. Speaking of, hopefully something that's more cheaper or back down on the lower stratosphere instead of the higher amounts. Let's talk about this one. You and I both, and I'm assuming some other people who are listening right now, are gamers, or just in general, maybe not so much a gamer, but you just move your mouse around. Maybe you work in an office job. Now that 2020 happened, a lot of us stay at home and do work, etc., etc. Well, there is a Zephyr Pro RGB sweatproof gaming mouse.
See, I want one of these.
Now here,
amazing.
This is intriguing. I don't get really sweaty palms. I'm not very sweaty to begin with, but
when I'm playing Splitgate and that adrenaline is going.
But see, for example, like when you play video games like that, when you're like toe to toe with somebody, right? And you're keeping that edge, your palms tend to sweat, etc. There's this gaming mouse, the Zephyr Pro RGB sweat-proof gaming mouse, houses a tiny little fan that blows cool air onto your palm through the honeycomb outer shell while you play. So it has little honeycomb holes, and as you play, it blows the air on your middle part of your hand, which is really weird. The mouse hardware uses the latest, most accurate sensors to keep your input sharp as well as dry. Plus, as it says, it's RGB, so not only do you get the experience of a bidet or whatever that's called in the toiletries where it keeps...
bidet.
That's the word. It also keeps your hand cool, in a sense, while you're mousing around. And I don't know, man.
I think it would be cool just to try it.
Now, the retail value price as it sits as of to date of this recording was £43, and that would be the equivalent of £59 US, which is
$59?
I'm sorry, $59 US. I'm stuck in pounds right now, but can you imagine that? 43. Wow, it seems like it's cheaper to buy stuff from the UK equivalent,
right?
Than it is. Wow. $59. Now, see, that's not too bad because I paid around that price for mine, and I
Mhm.
love mine. Mine's a really nice. I like the instant push of a button, click, boom. I can change my
Mhm.
DPI on the fly. I have one,
Yep.
two, three, four, five, six different buttons configurations I can push on the fly. I
I
mean,
have 7 on my
or
mouse.
maybe it is seven. Two. Oh, I lied. Two in the front, two on the side, two on the side. That's two, four, six. Then the mouse button wheel I can push in as well too. So that's
Oh, well,
seven.
if you're counting the mouse button, we all got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the mouse button.
Look, okay. I
I've got all the buttons.
you got all the buttons. Hey, she
I stole
pushes.
them and
She pushes
put
all
them
the
all
right
together.
buttons. That's right. That's crazy. What else we got in technology world?
Well, going back towards speakers,
Okay.
we have the SRS NB10 wireless neck band speaker.
The wireless neckband speaker.
Yeah. Now,
Uh oh.
what if putting on music didn't mean you had to shut yourself off from the world? I mean, when I put on music, I kind of want to be shut off from the world.
Isn't that the point of putting on music?
I mean, yeah, exactly.
I mean, if I'm watching TV, am I going to throw on the speakers and listen to music at the same time?
I wouldn't.
Me neither.
Now, Sony, here it is again. There's that magical word, Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Their new neckband speaker gives your ears a rest and sits on your shoulders, firing the audio towards your ears in a focused beam. Now,
Ears at rest. Sits on your shoulders. Okay.
the thing is, it's got a built-in microphone and it's Bluetooth. So you can connect it to your phone or you can connect it to your computer. You can take calls or
Ooh.
listen to music up to 30 meters away from your computer. No more excusing yourself from a meeting to make a cup of tea, is what it says.
Hey, you say 30 meters though. That's pretty far. It's about 90 feet.
Yeah. You also don't need to worry about disrupting your partner or housemates, as Sony claims the upward angle of the full range speaker optimizes sound for your ears only.
Hmm.
Though we'd have to test that for ourselves to believe it.
Right.
Weighing only 113 grams, so pretty light.
That's light. Yeah.
The neckband is light and comfortable. Take your pick from charcoal gray, pristine white, and maybe in the future we can see it in rose gold. Now,
Rose gold.
me personally, I would take the rose gold any day. I think
Really?
that's a beautiful color. Now, you can get this for 135 pounds, and you can get it from Amazon for $149.99. I mean, that's an expensive pair of headphones.
It is 135. Wait, what did you say it was?
$149.99. 135 pounds.
So here's a thought. Okay, so, but see, you couldn't wear these. Now I'm looking at it as a, not to be the Debbie Downer, but I look at it as practical. Where would a cactus use this for? Maybe if I was like in the front room or something and nobody was around, I could listen to music or etc. etc. But I couldn't use this for grass cutting, like if I'm cutting grass, because it'd be too loud in the lawnmower. So I would have to plug in earphones, which wouldn't make sense because you're wearing
Well,
this on your neck.
according to this, it kind of just sits on your shoulders
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a earbud without having anything in your ear, where it's just directed at your ear in a focused beam. So that way, instead of having something in your ear, it's focused directly on where it needs to be for you to hear it. So maybe it would work for cutting grass.
possibility, but I mean, the decibels would fight against a lawnmower, though. So I could see that.
Yeah.
But one thing I couldn't see, again, another thing, again, not trying to be a Debbie Downer or whatever the male version of that would be, is what if I was like, say, if I wanted to do this right now live on stream, what if I wanted to use the mic capability instead of having this microphone plugged in? What if I wanted to use that as a wireless mic, but then it would, of course, reflect back the audio from the speakers into it? Then you would have this infinite feedback loop,
Yeah.
which back in the day was annoying because you really had to know what you were doing to tweak it so it
Hmm.
wouldn't do that. But I don't know. I mean, it's cool sounding, but didn't we see this before? Wasn't this like 90s or 2000s technology?
Something like that.
Hmm. Well, speaking of stuff is technology based, and maybe here we go again with LG or RGBs and stuff. There's a thing called the Flex Sound. Let's try saying that in one word. Flex Sound Pulse. This is a chair that brings a whole new sense to your cinema experiences in just one touch. Now, this is interesting because you like horror movies and stuff like this. It can literally shake you to your core.
Yeah, I want one of these.
Now, these pulse speakers use speakers that are built into the chair to deliver what they say sound that you can feel. The system offers all this intense sound you're expecting in a cinema, which would be super cool, except now you can also feel the frequencies up to 1,000 hertz on your skin, of all things. So you would actually feel can you
The
imagine
jump scares and
Jurassic Park? I think that would be the
oh
best one. If you've probably heard that on subwoofers, or at least on a nice area where the thump, and the water shakes and thump. The chair is only in concept. It's only available for cinemas. Okay, but think about that for a sec. But they are ready to license this as a future furniture manufacturers who's willing to put their body where the sound is. So they have license for it. They're willing to do it if somebody wants to up the furniture business wants to say, hey, I'll manufacture that for you. There could be future car brands. So can you imagine that? You're in your car and then there's somebody vibrating by you. It's like, oh, you're listening to that deep bass. What are you doing, ma'am? Oh. I don't know. I mean, the way I've seen it before, obviously it's, I figured it was RGB, but again, why would you put RGB in a chair? There's creating personal sound zones for every passengers, or making it quiet. Like the quiet electrical vehicles sound like they have 8-cylinder engines. So yeah, that didn't make sense. But you can do it for these personal sound zones for every person, or making quiet electrical vehicles sound like they have 8 cylinders. So I guess you can make it super loud or super quiet depending on what it is. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. 1,000 hertz. That's pretty interesting. You can feel the noise on your skin, of all things. I don't know. I wouldn't. Would I consider something like that? No. I've seen those YouTube. I've seen videos where you step into a vehicle and it's thumping so loud that the lady's skin and their hair is vibrating with the beats. And you guys at home probably know what I mean when I say that, but I've seen stuff like that before. So I don't know. It's something maybe I would sit in, but I like the recliners at my movie theater. I don't know if everybody has those nowadays, like you, Bunny. I don't know
I
if
mean,
do you have recliners at
I
your
haven't
theaters?
been I haven't been to a movie theater in a while. The last time I was at the one
Last 3 years,
closest to me,
right?
last time I was at one was before COVID. But the one
Right.
closest to me did not have recliners. I know there's
Really?
one over by the Best Buy, which is an IMAX theater. I'm pretty sure they do have recliners.
You'll never want to get out of it. You really don't.
I know.
They're nice. They're super nice. For some odd reason, I thought, when we were renovating this stuff, I thought, nah, this is gonna be poops. But actually, it turned out really nice. Took them a while to put them in. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if they were
Well, everything moves at a snail's pace.
Yeah. Road construction people. Mm-hmm.
Oh
I
my
see you there
god.
just talking and stuff on your phones.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so speaking of road construction, around my
Yes.
area, there's a lot of construction on like the main road that goes from north to south.
Mm-hmm.
And we all every time we go past it, we always make jokes that we're in Orlando because it's always under construction in Orlando.
Oof. Never been to. Wait, have I been to Orlando? Is that where Disney is?
Yes.
I've been there. Kissimmee,
Yes.
Kissimmee, Kissimmee.
Yep. I lived in Kissimmee for a while.
Hmm. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff too to the west of me. Major closures until December, and then some until 2022. Love that one. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
Now, this next one I am actually looking forward to.
Okay.
A night watch magnifying clock dock. Say that 10 times fast. For the Apple Watch. Now, I have an Apple Watch.
Is it
I
a
use it
granny or is it? Oh, the
not the
I
apples.
yeah, okay. I was trying to think
But
of like
anyway,
the names of apples. Go ahead.
so not all tech has to come with wires and buttons. This is just a little orb that magnifies your Apple Watch display to effectively turn it into an alarm clock. And it's
Hmm.
cute. It's just a little ball that it's got a slot in the back that holds the watch's MagSafe charger, which for those that don't know what a MagSafe is, I actually have my Apple Watch charger beside me.
Well, ain't that just serendipity?
This is a MagSafe. It's just a little magnet, and as soon as it stops getting caught on my microphone, on the front, it's got a little indent to put on the back of the watch, and it just magnetizes to it
Just
and charges it.
it's kind of like those I know iPhones has those, or most places now they have those flat circles that you
Round,
put your
yeah,
phone. My
yeah. You
phone
just
doesn't
lay
do
it
it
on there.
because of the fact that
Mine
this
does, but
this
I've
heavy
got a
cover.
case on mine.
Exactly. I tried to do it at the casino. I tried doing it with blindies. Hers,
Hmm.
she has one of those said chargers, but my phone just doesn't charge on it at all. I'm sure if I took it out of its case, which I don't know how to do, then I would. But I
Now,
seriously don't.
now with this, all you have to do is put your watch in there, and you tap the surface of the orb, and
Tink.
that will wake up your watch screen so you can see the time.
Wow.
Plus, the shape of the night watch amplifies the sound to transform your watch into an effective alarm clock. Because most people don't know this, but Apple Watches do actually make noises, especially if you have an alarm.
Help
I can
me.
I I can play music through my Apple Watch.
That's interesting.
I love it. Now, it's 94 pounds,
What?
and for here in America, it is $59.99 on Amazon.
Minter, for just that split second, I thought you meant as in weight, not money
Oh
currency.
god.
I was like,
Oh my
holy,
god, no.
that would have to be
Oh,
the heaviest thing. Now,
heaviest little orb ever.
do you, yeah, it would be. Here's a question. Do you own or do you have a nightstand clock?
I do not.
I do not either.
And that is why this would be perfect, because when I put my watch on the charger next to my bed,
mm-hmm.
all I gotta do is get an orb and put it on top and tap it, and I got an alarm clock.
That's so wild. 94 pounds, and then US would be the equivalent to $60.
Yes, sir.
So it's actually cheaper for the US citizens this time around, which doesn't make sense. Whereas the opposite before we were talking about. What about this? Now, this is something that I've stopped using long time ago in a far, far away. No, wait. How does that go? I stopped using these a long time ago. When I had an office desk, yeah, that kind of thing. What about the Symphonisk? Try saying that one backwards. Picture frame Wi Fi speaker. Now, what I meant by what I stopped using was obviously a picture frame.
Okay, rewind.
Okay.
Did you say a picture frame
Yeah,
Wi-Fi speaker?
you are correct.
What in
Yes.
the hell is a picture frame Wi-Fi speaker?
All right, so the flat panel of this speaker is about as thick as a flat screen TV. Okay. It can be mounted flush against a wall or stood up, kind of like how you have, I guess, your typical picture frames and stuff like this. Stood up on a shelf using the kickstand, just like you would for a picture frame. But interchangeable front panels you can get from IKEA. Believe it or not, you can get the interchangeable. So if you didn't like that color, didn't like that scheme, forget about it. Just go to IKEA, boom, bada bing. They have the front panels, additional cost, of course, to get these things. There's controls on the side of the speakers also work with the Sonos S2 app, which means you can send music seamlessly to different parts of your home and access the full range of streaming services that plug into it. So, if
Okay, I see
you
what
see
this
where
is.
it's
You
going,
have to buy multiple ones.
yes, they can't be single. They have to have family, brothers and sisters.
I'll pass.
So this would be kind of, this would be kind of cool though. Like, say if you're at work and your friend Amy Doe, she gets around a lot, is in the other cubicle and says, "Hey, Bunny, I want to share this song with you real quick. I'm going to send it to your frame." Then you can share that information, that song from hers to yours. You guys can listen to it together, or you can listen to it on your own. So you'd be like, "Oh, that's really cool."
Yeah, no.
I could see it. That you don't like the concept.
No, I don't want to have to buy multiple ones.
You know what I would do is I would have something that I would like creep the hell out of somebody. Like I would pre-record a message or something and then send it into that speaker. I'm staring
Oh
at
my
you.
god.
I know what you did last night in the
That's
toilet.
only if you want to pay $199 US
Yes.
dollars.
This saying, yes, a full range of streaming services that plug into it, £179, $179 in pounds, and as you mentioned, it's like 199 something. So
American dollars, yes.
yes,
Now, this next one actually seems kind of interesting to me.
okay.
The LG Signature OLED-R.
Mm.
That's a mouthful, first off. But it is a TV. Now,
All that for a TV, gotcha.
when you turn this TV off, the display just rolls itself up and tucks into a small speaker cabinet below it,
Huh.
like a projector screen.
So it kind of down, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that would be
Just rolls
cool.
up like a projector.
Ooh, that'd be
Now,
crazy.
alternatively, in line view mode, excuse me, it shrinks down to about a fifth of its height to work as a display for for the integrated soundbar. So not only is this a
Ooh.
TV, you also get a soundbar integrated into it. It is an achingly cool party trick that's made possible by OLED technology. This kind of display doesn't require backlights. The OLED crystals generate their own light when current is passed through them. This means they can, if manufactured in a certain way, be built into flexible screens.
Oh, now this would be interesting. Like Boku crazy interesting.
I mean, they've done demos of the bendable screen technology for a couple years now, but manufacturing is still fairly expensive and hard to perfect.
Could you imagine that, man? At your house, you just whip this out, and people are like, "Future technology, dude!" Like, can you imagine this? I mean, if you have something like this, I mean, you're the talk of the party,
Right?
man. Think about that. Bendable
Now,
screen technology. Wow.
manufacturing is still fairly expensive and hard to perfect, which goes some way to explaining why you have to cough up a house deposit to own one of these TVs.
What?
Do you really want to know the price?
Now that you've mentioned that, I'm kind of scared. I'll say 7 grand. Was I close?
You said 7?
$7,000. I mean, that's about as that I'm talking. That is the top of the crop that I would pay for anything electronic outside of a vehicle, but a vehicle.
Well, then you're going to want to just pass on this then. In pounds, it is
Oh shit.
$99,999 or pounds.
What? How much?
In US dollars, it
Uh
is $100,000 TV.
100 Ks. We're talking cabbage. We're talking dirty money. 100 grand for a TV?
I just sent you something to show you this TV. That's more expensive than a house deposit.
$100,000 US. 65-inch glass rollable 4K smart. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have this kind of cash, no, I mean, if you do, get it. I mean, if it's
Right?
if it's for you, I mean, to some people, Oprah, Paul McCartney, Johnny Depp, just to name one of those, multi-million / billionaires.
The people who can afford it.
Mark from Shark Tank. I mean, that's a nothing burger. That'd be like $10 for us. Like, what does that cost? $10? Here you go.
Yeah,
Here,
right?
I mean,
Here, let me give you
Jesus,
20.
Jesus, 100 grand for, I don't know, man. Maybe
I mean,
because
it looks awesome, but I don't think I would ever spend 100 grand on a TV.
for something. No, there's absolutely not, because there's so many things I could totally spend 100 grand on.
God, yes.
I
A
mean,
house.
okay, so let's see. Would you buy an Escalade or would you buy a house?
I'd buy a house.
Why do
I
you
can live in a house.
exact? Well,
I don't
yeah.
want to live in an Escalade.
So some of those Escalades, they run about 76,000. We'll round it to one. We'll say 76K. Okay. Why in the hell would you want to get something like that where you can't, as you mentioned, you live in? It's like I'd rather have, if I have 100 grand to throw, I'm going to throw a good 40% or 50% of that onto a house deposit. So that way
Amen.
my mortgage is hella cheaper. Number one.
Right?
I mean, if the house is 100K, you're just going to get the whole 100K up front. I mean, obviously there's
Right.
tax and stuff, but I could roll that shit. I mean, no problem there, but man, 100K for a nice TV though. Oof.
I couldn't see it being worth it.
Millionaires have at it, but for us regular Joes that are,
Us
that
little people down here.
are simple people, us little guys down at the foot of the ladder that is trying to step up to the ladder. Yeah, we can't afford that stuff. More back to earth as we descend back into our chairs, because I jumped, 180 miles above. There is this company, or the Aorus, the Gigabyte Aorus is 17G. This is a laptop. And this is a gaming laptop, I believe it is. It's apparently it's got a lot of punch to it. It's a relatively slim, sleek case. That's a good thing too. You don't want something thick, but you don't want it so thin it's like sneeze proof. It's got ray tracing, which is like my Super RTX on my 2060 GPU. It's got ray tracing, so it gives it that better edge. The colors, the graphics, like the reflections of water and stuff, looks really like crystal clear. Which is really cool. The complex lighting graphics used in the latest games. Again, that's what RTXing does. The display can run at a blistering 300 hertz. Damn. So you can do 300 frames?
Okay.
It will look incredibly smooth on screen at 300 hertz. It damn well better be.
Right?
It better feed me with a silver spoon. Open your mouth, cactus. You know, if you're a gaming pro or just a laptop was designed for that rapid refresh rate, so there's really no delay between the inputs. So there's that milliseconds. There's no there's syncing issue. Forget about it. There is no such thing. Mechanical keyboard provides satisfying clicks. Now I'm not into those clicks. If I hear clicks, it drives me nuts. That is one of my peeves. When we talk about pet peeves, Foo-foo,
What?
did you click?
No.
Did I hear a click come out of your compressed mic? I heard one. Mm-hmm. Don't. Where's my water bottle?
I have a mechanical keyboard, and
I
the clicks do get annoying, but I
I've
like
heard
how
it.
fluid it goes.
I'm not sure what the other specs of it is, but it's obviously it's good for video and audio editing. So if you're into film design, if you're into graphic designing, this computer obviously can handle it. It's got the latest NVIDIA Super Graphics card, which is developed to handle the ray tracing. It doesn't say if it's a 3000 series. Did they make a notebook 3000 series? I wonder.
I don't know.
I don't know if they do or not. If they're talking 2000, NVIDIA? Yeah, they do. GeForce RTX 30 series laptops. Well, that
Nice.
answered my question. And ray tracing, yeah, I love ray tracing. It's pretty. It's a little bit more on your GPU, but if the game is optimized enough, it works perfectly. It makes really nice. The retail is £18.99.
I was about to say the price tag on this thing. What is it?
If you're in America, the price retails normally on the average of $1,849, which isn't that bad.
That's not too bad, but for a laptop, I would expect it to be a little less.
I would expect it to be at least $600 less.
I mean, it's not a full PC tower.
I'm telling you, I'm not one of those. I don't like laptop. I had my laptop, thankfully, for the last 5 years, 4.5 years. But let me tell you, the desktop, when you have a tower, so much better. So much better, in my opinion. It's just better. I can get in there faster if I need to change something. If I want to rewire something, if I want to change the graphics card, all I got to do is snap it out. I take a quarter and just take out the big screw on the side. Yours has that too, right? It has a clear side.
Yep. Oh, it's got the tempered glass side panel.
I like those. I really do.
I do too. I love it.
It's just, I mean, it's got a little RGB going on in there too, but I don't see it. You guys at home don't see it when I, stream my other stuff, so that's why she's hidden. Now, in the future, if I do get a new cardboard box, you know how it is. You have a washing machine, kind of a cardboard box, and now you want a refrigerator-sized cardboard box.
Yep.
You want to upgrade a little bit. Maybe I'll have it in a frame where you guys can see it in the background, like other pros do. But it's not a necessity. And right now, as it sits, my L-shaped desk, yes, love it. I'm so happy with it. I don't know about if you are, but
I love my desk.
It fits me perfectly.
It was such a great buy.
I wanted it and I got it and I'm happy I did. Good price too.
Very good price.
Indeed. Solid.
A decent size, solid desk.
It's solid.
The only thing I wish it had was a little more cable management, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I wish there was a hole in the back where you can slide and shove the cords. Grommet. Yeah. That's one of the things, and also like as you mentioned, I didn't think I would ever need like a hook for your headphones. I use, believe it or not, it's interesting, and if you were to see it, you'd probably laugh. But to be transparent, I have these are obviously clippers, right, or a clip, and I have it where it's on the desk itself, but I have a sock that is between the desk and this, so it doesn't scar the desktop. And I literally just hang my headphones on it, and it's sturdy. I mean,
I've
right at the bend.
lately I've just been, whenever I fold my boom arm up, I'll just hang my headset on the boom arm.
I thought about that, but I have mine where it's like really flexy.
Loose.
So yeah, because I tend to grab it a lot like this and move it towards my
Yep.
mouth, and so I'm a kind of a grab the mic kind of guy and stuff. So
I mean, mine's flexible away from and towards me,
right,
not so much up and down. That's why I hang my headphones on there.
right. Yeah. I have a, I don't know what this is, but it's a newer Meeweon arm stand thing. I'd like to get an upgrade later on, one of the longer ones.
Yeah.
When Bunny says, "I will buy you a Shure microphone, Cactus, for your birthday next month."
No, that's Gunzo. Gunzo is playing Santa this year for you.
Did you say that for real? Because I'll be all giddy and it'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be really nice. We should jump on this subject next week too. Well, let's make it a double. Why don't we just do that? We'll make it two. We'll make it back to backs, basically. Part 2, part 1, and part 2 for these two. I like the Halloween stuff.
This list had 85, and we barely scratched the surface.
I mean, there's so much stuff about technology that is out there, and again, these will be good. We can make this part as like good Christmas present. Ooh, that would be a good theme.
There we go.
Christmas
list ideas.
Christmas list. I jot that down. That is next week's, and we could use part of this for this because there's only at time of recording. From what I read, there's only 95 days left of sleeping days until Christmas morning. 95.
I don't want to think about that. I haven't started any Christmas shopping.
It probably will be snowing tomorrow here.
Oh, have fun with that.
Shit. For realsies. Because, I mean, we have flood watches right now. Ironically enough. Fun. I like this conversation. You have what?
We have clouds.
I thought she said the other C word. No. Clowns.
No, Cactus, no.
How much money would it take for me to pocket to give to a clown to give you a big old hug? Like if I paid off a clown to hug you. What do you think I should pay him?
That clown will get punched in the face and kicked in the balls. Is that what you really want?
Poor clown. Will it squeak when you get kicked down there?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Will it whistle like...
That was one thing I was nervous about going to Hallow Scream in Tampa at Busch Gardens.
Really?
It said on the website that there was going to be deranged clowns. I did not see one.
Oh, I was so happy. Hell no.
I was so happy.
Oh my God. That would be funny. I would pay for that.
No.
Well, I guess that's all the time we have today. Please be sure to check out our prior Megabyte podcast shows found on the miraculous anchor.fm/Squeamish Cactus. And or you can listen to us on Spotify as well, too. All you have to do at the search bar is just type in the words, the Megabyte Podcast, and you should find us. It sounds exciting to you? Of course it does.
Absolutely.
Until next week.
This episode should be up, what, tomorrow?
Give or take, probably the next following day afterwards, because you got to give 24 hours before we can take the reins for it. But yes, it'll probably be out Wednesday/Thursday morning. Yes, yeah. Absolutely. Cool. Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Alrighty. Until then, I guess we'll see you guys next week, right? Absolutely.
Yes,
alrighty, guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Megabyte Podcast. I am your co-host, Squeamish Cactus.
And I'm Fufu.
And if you have missed any of the prior podcasts, be sure to go down to the anchor.fm/Squeamish Cactus, or you can simply go to Spotify.com and type in the search box the Mega, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it shows up. The Megabyte Podcast in the search bar. Be sure to give us a follow there. We would really appreciate that, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
There you go. Hey, you know, it's soon going to be here, the cold weather, and I've noticed the leaves starting to fall already, and I don't want to say that because I don't want you summer to leave. But the flip coin of it is the beauty of what falls on the 31st of October, and you know what it is, and I know what it is.
It's my favorite holiday.
It is
Of course
her
I know who
holiday.
it is.
It is really cool, but you know what's really interesting too are some of the most haunted locations in America. We kind of touched base on it. We didn't really go too far deep into it, but there's some really good ones, man. And I want to see. I haven't nosed through my notes yet for my state, but the creepiest places to visit in every state. This is going to be interesting. You want to start us off with some of the creepy ones? Ooh, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Or is that a tarantula crawling on me? Oh, sorry, just kidding. Maybe it's that clown in the back. Hey, hey! Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's not talk about the clowns. Okay, so
oh my gosh.
There's always that one in every place.
Oh yeah. What is
Actually,
that?
there's multiples throughout each state. Cemeteries.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you massive one just in the middle of your state. Could you imagine that? Just a big pile. That'd be horrific.
I know in my state we have Bushnell, which is
Bless you.
military,
Okay.
and that's huge. It's where my grandfather's actually buried.
Oh.
It's a huge cemetery, but the the one that we're going to talk about is Maple Hill Cemetery in Alabama.
Alabama.
Yes.
Way down in Alabama. Now
Well,
I've been
it's
in
closer
Alabama.
to me than you.
Oh yeah, it's a big state. That in Mississippi, Mississippi. Hey, I said it all in one breath. Yes.
Now, okay, the cemetery itself is not actually that creepy,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a playground adjacent to Maple Hill Cemetery
Uh-oh.
in Huntsville, Alabama. Now,
Okay.
it's presumed that it gives the children of parents that are in mourning something to do while the parents are, beside themselves or reminiscing or visiting,
Mm-hmm.
But apparently the resident ghosts enjoy it more than live people.
Hmm.
Now, people have reported seeing orbs going
Uh-huh.
down the slides or
Ooh.
swings moving
Oh.
and disembodied giggles. Now, me personally, I think the creepiest thing would be little kid giggles
You
in the middle
know,
of the night.
now this is a true story. I have heard such things at locations where I've been in the past, where did investigate, and we did in fact heard it audibly. I don't think it was captured on our video recorders, but we did hear it as a VP or voice phenomenon, which is a disembodied voice that you physically hear with your own 2 ears. It was creepy, and I ain't gonna lie, and I think it was in St. Augustine. I'm pretty sure it was in Florida, ironically. But yes, it's creepy as hell. And now you think too with like a swing set you were mentioning about orbs is we're made of energy obviously, and we as a scientific researcher as what an investigator is basically because you're investigating sciences we fully don't understand yet. But in lamest terms, it seems like when places like cemeteries or playgrounds or hospitals or anywhere where there's a large group of people that are there on a daily basis, like a mall would be a good place, or an asylum
Mm-hmm.
would be a really good place to find activity in. And you hit it right on the head, Fufu, when you mentioned that. Obviously, it seems that would be a good spot to look. But it'd be creepy as hell, though, like you said, to hear it. Oof.
I mean, this place just sounds creepy. So
It would sound to me sound creepy as hell too. But
it gets better.
uh-oh.
Adding to the eeriness, some locals believe the victims of a rash of child murders in the 60s were buried nearby.
Oh God.
Hence, the disembodied giggles and the playground seeming haunted.
Now, see, now if there's a tragedy like that, yes, there's going to be,
Yeah,
obviously, the kid, they won't know what happened. They're still darting around and stuff like that. Oh, that's creepy.
exactly. And that's just one of the most creepiest places in the US.
If
And
I,
if you're in Alabama and you're into the paranormal stuff,
Mhm.
that's definitely one to check out.
Let's try the opposite direction, north. And this is a state I probably never will want to visit because it's cold.
I don't like the cold. I don't like where this is going.
Juneau, Alaska, of all places. Think about that for a
Nope.
second. From where your
Nope.
location is, it's like polar opposites, right? That's like
That is
thousands of miles away from you.
way northwest of me, and that's somewhere I will never go.
Now, as you know, Alaska is very well infamous back in the day of fur trading and stuff from Russia and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The middle waters there, the Bering Sea, I think it is.
Yes, the Bering Sea.
It's very volatile there. It's a very dangerous place, but people would actually
Oh
go
God,
back and
yes.
forth. So there's a place in Juneau, Alaska, of all places. If the bears and stuff don't get you, maybe the ghosts will. There's a ghost who's famous to roam the halls of Alaska's oldest operating hotel, and it's that of a gold miner's wife who she lived there while waiting for her husband to return. So she was a gold miner's wife, and I'm assuming something tragic happened. Well, he didn't show up. She began supporting herself by working as a prostitute. Oh boy. There's a winner.
No, I think I've read about this before.
But he did return. Oh yes, he returned. Not exactly thrilled with her new career choice. He kills her. Okay, he killed her, and now guests and staff at this hotel regularly report encounters with her ghost. And no, I'm not talking sexually. I'm saying in general, they do see her walking around inside the rooms or hallway of the gold miner's wife walking around in this hotel in Juneau, Alaska. It didn't really say what it is. I guess it's the Alaskan Hotel is the name of the place.
I
But
mean,
oof.
what did he expect her to do? I mean,
This,
okay, I don't know the backstory. I don't
right.
know, was he sending her money to live? Was he doing stuff to make sure that she could get by, or was that a means to an end?
Was she a gold digger?
Ah.
Or was he? Okay. But anyways, yeah. Yeah, there's no backstory other than that she haunts the place. She was killed by him, which is, but back in the 1800s, early 1900s.
It wasn't something that would bring shock.
Right. I mean, it happened. I mean, there was flooziness everywhere, regardless of who you were. Regardless of what gender you chose, there was always that floozy type thing that happened. And if you got caught, well, you got killed, But in this case, the poor lady just runs around aimlessly through the halls of Alaska's oldest operating hotel. That is the Alaskan Hotel in Juneau, Alaska.
Can we take it somewhere warmer?
Please, for goodness sake, yes. Let's keep it.
Now, okay, this place is hot. Okay, it's not just warm. Where I'm at is warm. Alaska
Okay.
or Arizona, on the other hand, is hot
I
and
want to
it's
move there.
dry.
I want to move there so effing bad.
I like my tropical, not complete desert blasted, scorching temperatures.
You don't want to be a rabbit foot jerky?
No.
Oh.
But anyway, in Arizona, there
Right.
is the Yuma Territorial Prison.
Ooh.
Now,
that sounds eerie, just the name of it. The Yuma Territorial Prison.
Now, I don't know what a territorial prison is, but it was established during Western expansion. The territorial prison scored itself with 111 permanent guests during its heyday between 1876 and 1909. So it was running for a long time.
That is a long time. I mean,
almost 120 years? Or just over 120 years?
And 111 permanent guests during its heyday. So think 111 people just fit inside a prison with no air conditioning. And you're breathing on it. Oh my god!
I mean, it gets a little bit more grim.
Oh,
Not only, or not one to shy away from a reputation of locking people in the hot, dark places,
mm-hmm.
Arizona decided this state this they designated this as a state historical park. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think historical park, I think, outdoors,
Ah,
a nice nature preserve.
look at the
I don't
geese.
think of a prison
I
as a
th-
historical park.
I think of serenity. I think the flowers bloom, the bees buzzing, birdies chirping.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think guys in
I
black
think,
and whites and handcuffs or balls and
well,
chains.
exactly. When I think park, I think of a nice,
Right,
relaxing day.
right.
No. It's easily one of the creepiest in all the nation and
Really.
one of the most haunted spots in Arizona.
Ooh.
Now, they have tours and stuff,
Uh
and
huh.
the guides that do the tours report feeling chills when they pass cell 14,
Oh,
which is where an inmate was doing time for crimes against nature had killed himself. Now, I'm not sure what crimes against nature
I don't like you, Mother Nature.
is.
You're not bringing me any sunshine today. I mean, what is it? Okay, crimes
I
of
have no
nature.
idea.
I'm gonna
But
search that up as you talk.
okay. But in the so-called dark cell, prisoners in pitch black solitary confinement
Oh,
went mad, chained to ring bolts in the walls. Now, that seems like torture.
and so does the crime against nature. I never knew this, and it's quite the opposite of what I was thinking. Is a crime against nature or unnatural act has historically been a legal term in English-speaking states identifying forms of sexual behavior not considered natural or decent and are legally punishable offenses. Well, I thought it would just be I'm chewing out Mother Nature, etc., etc. Well, that just turned a
Okay.
page, didn't it?
That's
Eeh.
definitely not what I was thinking.
Completely the opposite corner of the page, but yes, yeah, let's not go there. That's interesting. Uh, uh, um. Now, here's two ways you can say it: Arkansas or Arkansas. We'll say either way. There's a place. It's the Arlington Hotel. Okay, this is in Hot Springs, Arkansas, not Hot Springs. Hot Springs, Florida. Wait, there's another hot spring somewhere in the nation. It's a century-old hotel that it has ornate luxury to it. It's probably one of the snootier places. You probably would stay there a while too if you're a ghost. Now think about it. If you're you want to be in a prestigious place, and when you die, you want to be in a prestigious place. I would assume you don't want to hang out with the old misfits down the road at Stinky Cemetery or whatever the case it is.
Looking at a picture of this hotel, I want to stay there.
Well, 4 presidents have been there, plus Babe Ruth, Al Capone. Boy, that guy got everywhere, didn't he? There's old-timey lamplights that walk down through the downtown. There's spring-fed spas that draw visitors, and it's basically a resort town. But what's really interesting is I guess there's a lot of activity there. It's steepy, inky forest. There's bubbling fountains, whatever the hell that is. I guess it's haunted. There wasn't really much talk about what's there or what it is. I think that's a mistype. Barf. But it just says it's a grand century-old hotel. So we'll have to look into that one. If I ever go to Arkansas, I've been to Arkansas. I keep saying Arkansas. It was a running joke with Blondie and I when we went through it. We didn't go deep into it. We just went straight down. I think we were heading to what's in the middle of Arkansas? I think we were heading to New Orleans, and we were taking the western edge of because I didn't want to go through Kentucky and Tennessee because I hate mountains. So I wanted to go on the western edge of it, which was perfect because there was not one mountain. Ooh, it was beautiful. think it
Tennessee
was.
mountains are scary.
Dude, you're not kidding, man. On I-75 southbound, once you get out of Kentucky deeper into Tennessee, if you look to the west, because you're facing south, you look to the west and there's a nice steep edge that is, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 feet down below. And
Yep.
very thin railing at points. There's no railing, it's just trees. But you can see down there, it's like, holy Jesus, I'm like way up in the air, but it doesn't feel
Uh-huh.
like it. So either I'm up on a mountain cliff that I didn't know I climbed, or they've dug out the or the it's a valley, a deep valley of some
Mm-hmm.
sort. It's scary, foo foo. It really is scary.
What's really scary is going through the mountains at night, coming down a 6% grade slope.
That sounds like Pennsylvania talk.
Nope, this was Tennessee.
Oh,
This was when I
Jesus.
was on my way back to Florida from Indiana. Driving through Tennessee mountains, going down
Oh,
a
hell no.
6% degree,
Mm.
and it was nighttime. We were having car troubles, and there was
Mm.
semis all around us. I was terrified.
Ooh. Mm, 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 mm. See, that's just scary because I've been on mountains at night, and especially in Pennsylvania, you probably can touch base on Pennsylvania.
Yep.
But those friggin' mountains, man, we climbed up this mountain. It just kept going up higher and higher, and then you're like at the peak of it, and you're going underneath the head of it or something, and then he comes out of it, and it's like woof, straight diagonal down, and all the trees are like this big all around. You're
Yep.
like, oh, there's trees, holy. I mean, oh, and then and you're trying to control your car because you were doing like
It's a steep, steep hill. Yeah.
you're doing like 65 to go through up, and then all of a sudden now you're like doing 90 because of you have to
Uh-huh.
brake.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it would be great. You know what you should do, Fufu? You should learn how to change brakes on a vehicle, and if you don't already, but if you do,
I already know that.
you should then open up a shop in one of these very mountainous places, like at the drop of one of these things, like on these major roads, because New York has this stuff too. Up in the Finger Lakes, there's mountains that go up and down. But you should open up Fufu's brakes, hop on in.
You realize that that wouldn't entail me to move to the mountains.
Well, I mean, you'd be at the base of you'd be at the bottom of it, so you wouldn't have to worry about it because all these poor sons of guns who come down who are destroying their brakes, because after a while their brakes are going to go poopy and they're going to need new brakes. So I always thought like Maryland and Kentucky and all those places that are hugely has mountains up the bazoo would be a perfect spot for a brake shop. It really would, because you have to brake. I mean, you have a 2.5 ton vehicle and you're like braking it, it's like,
The entire way down that mountain.
I mean, that's got to be like hot, you know what I mean? Like hot on the
Oh, yeah.
brakes and the oof. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we're going to go from the mountains
Okay.
to the coast. And when I say coast, I'm talking West Coast, not East Coast.
West Coast. Okay.
We're going to throw it all the way over to California.
You ever been?
I have not.
Oh,
I'd
it's
love
different.
to go someday, but I got my nice little slice of tropical right here.
LA is definitely foggy, smoggy. No joke.
Mm-hmm.
It lives up to its name.
But we're gonna take a look at the Turnbull Canyon. Now,
Canyon. Okay.
California is packed with terrifying places. We know that. You got your cult compounds to famous murder sites, like
Celebrities that come out of those plastic surgery. Oh, sorry.
those two, and your mysterious mansions, kind of like the Winchester House.
Oh yes, I almost
Which-
went there.
Which we touched base on in a previous episode.
Yes, we did.
But none of them come with the promise of a brisk scenic hike.
Ooh.
Now, me personally, when I was younger, I used to love hiking. I used to love being outdoors. Nowadays, not so much. The world has gotten scary.
Yeah.
But the Turnbull Canyon offers a 4-mile hike through the sprawling hills of the Puente Hills. There you can keep an eye out for sweeping city views and the ghosts of 29 people who perished here in a plane crash.
Oh God.
Now, this plane crash happened in the 50s, and the ghosts were obviously all ages.
Mm-hmm.
The ghosts of children, who, according to uncorroborated legend, were
Mm.
taken from a nearby orphanage and used in ritualistic sacrifices.
Oh, why?
Yeah,
I mean, what?
it, I don't
Okay.
understand it, but you know, there was also a ghost of a teen who found some old electroshock equipment
Oh shit.
from the canyon's burnt down asylum.
Oh man.
Now, let's recap. You got a nice scenic hiking trail,
Beautiful.
a 50s plane crash,
Uh oh.
and now a burnt down asylum.
What a combination, man, to put together to become haunted.
But anyway, the teen who found the electric shock equipment fried his brain despite the site having no power.
What?
Yeah, with no power at all.
How did
Now,
mm.
there's rumors of multiple cults, rumors of UFO sightings. The natives call it Hutakakana. I know I butchered that, but it's hard to pronounce. Or the place of the devil. So yeah,
Oh.
you enjoy that hike.
I mean 4 mile hike. I mean, number one, that's kind of a journey. And if
That's
you're
a pretty long hike.
their so-called quote unquote hills are considered almost like mini mountains to us people,
Yeah,
especially in the
exactly.
Midwest. So we're not used to it. And I have
Us
friends.
us flatlanders.
Our flatlander. Yes, we are flatlanders. Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's a good term. High
Because
five on that one.
Florida doesn't have that many hills either.
No, actually, Florida is really kind of way flat. It's like
Yeah, we're barely above sea level.
you're below sea level at some points. That's kind of creepy.
It's scary.
Here,
One good hurricane and we're gone.
I'm like 700 and something feet above sea level. Let me see as I think about that one. That's kind of crazy. But to have a combination, somebody got their brain fried, then you have some children or people or kids, I think you said, that were sitting there getting in what do you call those things? Rituals and stuff like that. I mean, like, holy crap. Like, that's just a disaster.
Okay, so talking about elevation and stuff, I just looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
My city
Yes.
is 148 feet above sea level. And compared to the cities around me, it's the lower point. I'm one of the low points in the state.
My city directly is 610 feet above sea level. So
So you're quite a bit of ways up there
I,
above me.
I am. Here's a fun fact. Now, people don't realize too, like, you're 100 and something you said, and I'm 600. So in reality, if I put my city next to your city, I'm way up here on a hill, like a
Yep. A
way up.
mountain.
It doesn't feel like it because my
Mm-mm.
city, my area is is extremely flat. It really, I mean, unless you go further, like if I took a major freeway and went further north like I did last weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and went up further north. If I go about 23 miles north of me, there are some bumps and there's some hills, but they're tiny. They're not, huge up and down. On the freeway, it's just, going around these little thingies, but that's it. But oh, speaking of hills, how about the Rockies, the mountains? How about the Stanley Hotel?
I know this one.
The obviously The Shining. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think it was what Stephen King had his novel over.
Stephen King had the Overlook Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
The novel was The Shining, and it was based on the Stanley Hotel. Now, the movie was directed by Stanley Kubrick, and I believe they actually filmed
Mm-hmm.
at the hotel.
Now, can you imagine that being filmed at a location? Now, this place has a lot of evidence that's been captured out of this place. I think
Oh
Jim
yeah,
Carrey's been through there. He had an experience in a place. I know there's various. I think Tom Hanks was another one who had an odd experience there, a paranormal experience. But it's really haunted. Service workers who still wander the grounds. There's what do they say? Such an extreme elevation. Well, because of the hills and stuff, but I mean, there's been various ghosts that have been seen for throughout the years. The Stanley, I think, is quite old, isn't it? It's a one of those ones that's been around for a long time.
a very long time.
It's very historical. I would love to go there. It would be great to go. I mean, it would. I mean, so in the future, I want to go there. Now, I don't like the where the location is deep, pretty deep up in the mountains, but it would be really cool because there's all kinds of stuff there. But it's very well known for its haunts. In fact, you've seen it, Bunny. You've seen it on TV many of times. These
Oh yes.
ghost investigators have physically gone there and captured solid evidence from the Stanley Hotel. And I know Blondie, my friend, that's on her bucket list too. You know, I'd go there for the stiff drinks too. But
Now,
besides the stiff,
the Stanley Hotel opened in 1909.
there you go. I
That
mean,
gives you an idea of how old this
mhm.
hotel actually is.
And think of all that time. People wore suits and jackets. Cars were just starting to take off, brand new. Electricity was kind of new. They still had oil. I mean, there's so many questions instantly I could think of, like, did you pan for gold? The Rockies, if you're going mountain climbing. I mean, there's so much
Hmm.
history there, bears and I guess it's pretty the elevation is kind of rough to get there. I would assume it is because it is the mountains. But yeah.
Now, see, I really want to go visit the Stanley Hotel because I love The Shining, but not just because of that. I want to go and visit it because they have ghost tours.
Yes, they do.
They have some serious ghost tours. They have daytime tours
Hmm.
and they have nighttime tours. Evening tours, you go to dark spaces and you can feel the energy change from what I've read.
Hmm.
The hotel becomes more active at night and you know the tour guides, they give you the history of the hotel.
I wouldn't mind going through because see, when you go to a hotel like this or you go anywhere that's haunted, you want to know a little bit of a backstory, but you also want to have some time to really physically do the investigation. Now there's ghost tours versus like ghost investigational tours where they allow you to film or audio for certain amounts of time, like 10 minutes usually. It's like a limit. But I don't I when I was in Savannah and when I did it in St. Augustine, uh, there was one. I want to say it was in Florida. They were just kind of douchebags. They were straight up douchebags. The way they wanted it, they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get pictures of us in front of buildings and just post it on their social media. I'm thinking, because they were like, okay, guys, line up right there against that wall and let's get a photo of a group photo. There's like 30 of us. So there's no way in hell you're going to be able to capture any really tangible audio
Yeah.
evidence when you got, Sniffles over here, you got Mr. Wheezy here. Maybe this lady is talking and constant chatting, so you can't really
Yep.
capture good evidence, which I don't like. But that's what it is. You
I
pay
mean,
for that.
that's, yeah, I was about to say that's one of those special amenities that you're going to have to pay for.
Ah, yeah, ain't that the truth? Some people do, some people I don't know. I prefer a small group.
Yep.
Hmm.
Well, let's bring it over to the more eastern side of the north.
East, north, gotcha.
Let's go to Connecticut.
Been there once, got turned
I've
around.
never been,
Hmm.
but
I
in
think I did.
Connecticut, I only know this place because of Gordon Ramsay's Hotel Hell.
Oh,
This place was actually on that that show.
okay.
It is the Curtis House Inn in
Curtis House.
Woodbury, Connecticut.
Mm.
Now, it's it said that Gordon Ramsay, obviously, he featured Connecticut's oldest inn on his appropriately titled reality show, Hotel Hell, bringing a paranormal investigator to corroborate what locals and visitors have been claiming for centuries, that the
Mm.
joint is haunted. Now, Ramsay himself had difficulties exiting his room during the 5-day stay, but it could have been due to faulty hardware. But try telling that to the guests who've reported like footsteps and disembodied voices and otherworldly things throughout the inn.
Interesting.
Now, the inn is 265 years old.
Booyah! Ding, 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 said the bell. A lot of
That's
people
a
don't realize
lot of history.
the East Coast, if you want history in America, there's two spots I would go. The West Coast, like Oregon and all those areas where panhandlers were for gold.
Yep.
And if you really want the good stuff, go through the mid-northern part, like you mentioned, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, the east side of Pennsylvania, and New York, too, on the east side of that.
The original colonies.
Thank you. Yes, you get it. Totally get it. That's where our history starts back in like the 1500s and 1400s. Now like people who are in England and stuff like 1400s, crikey, mate. No, that's Australian. Poppycock. There we go. Their stuff goes back to like the 1200s or 1100s. I mean, think about that. I think they had soldiers and knights and queens, where we just had, well, Plymouth Rock. We had pilgrims, okay? Supposedly, I don't know, but let's keep this theme. 265 years, you said?
Yes, sir.
Ooh. Did you say what they were, the entities or anything it was?
Most of the apparent entities are believed to be like the former inn owners over the years.
That makes sense.
Guests that have died from natural causes or suicide
Oof.
or murder, and the most terrifying for people who actually work there is former employees who clocked in but never actually clocked out.
Oh, damn. That would suck.
That's some scary thing to think of when you go to apply for a job at the Curtis House Inn.
John Smith, he has a hell of a lot of overtime. He still hasn't clocked out. I mean, think about that. Oof.
That's what a heavy paycheck.
Speaking of on the East Coast, and we'll talk neighbors. How about Delaware? You ever heard Fort Delaware?
I've never heard of it.
It's in Delaware City. I didn't even know Delaware had a Delaware City, because if you sneeze, I think Delaware is one of the smallest, isn't it?
I know for a fact Rhode Island is the smallest. I think Delaware is in like that general size.
And to retort and go back to what I said earlier about me going through Connecticut, yes. I was on my way through to Rhode Island, to Massachusetts, to stay at my hotel, and I had to go through Connecticut because I got lost. I had to do a turnaround because I went over the wrong bridge in so-called Rhode Island, because you had to go east through Warwick to go into Rhode Island, and into Massachusetts, but I made a wrong turn, and I was desperate for the coffee company, and unfortunately I found the Dunkin' dude instead, because that's all that is on the East Coast.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, terrible. So I had to end up getting coffee, but that was there in Connecticut. That was the only place and then I went right over the bridge again back into it. But getting back to there, let's go to Delaware City, the Civil War prisons. Now this would be interesting to go to for myself because I've been to Gettysburg. They had Civil War prisons. Obviously they were not the best places, especially if you're incarcerated back in those times, 1860s. I mean, you had gangrene, you had amputations, probably had mice, but then you think about all the mental state of those people. I mean, just like today, people get shell shocked and stuff when they're from in wars and stuff like this. They still have that. But there are supposedly Confederate soldiers. The spirits of these soldiers that interned at the former Union prison, I guess, which is down the road, are said to haunt the imposing granite brick behemoth of this so-called fort. Now, the fort, I guess, was back obviously through the times of the Civil War. Maybe it was built prior to the Civil War. It's a ferry ride from Delaware City on Pea Patch Island. So I say that 3 times backwards. That was weird. I said that and some noise
You okay?
behind me. I'm right. I don't know if you heard that on mic, but
I did not, but I saw you look back.
it kind of threw me for a second. I heard this loud crack. It's not raining. It's sunny. I don't know. That was kind of weird. You could also go through a 5-hour tour there at the fort where you'll supposedly some ghost sensing equipment to search for paranormal activity. So they allow you to go there with with stuff. So that would be a cool place. The kicker in the
And
teeth,
the
though,
thing is, from what it seems like, they provide you with the equipment.
which isn't bad because if you don't know what it is or you don't have the equipment, they'll let you borrow it, let you use it for the time.
Exactly. I mean, what would be better?
Hmm. The price tag, because that's $110,
Yeah,
but
but think about it. Think about it. If you don't have anything like myself,
Mhm.
$110, I get everything I need to go explore and investigate.
Bunny Fufu, ladies and gentlemen, will be paying for my ticket there because she's got
Ah,
money
no, you
bags.
have stuff. You have the paranormal stuff.
She has money bags attached to her legs. She's
I do
hopping
not.
along. Oh my
Well,
goodness.
we're gonna bring it southeast now. We're gonna come to my home.
Oh,
Talking about Florida.
okay.
Now, I was actually planning to go see this
Really?
in November because I was planning on me and Hubs were planning on taking a trip down to Key West.
Oh,
Go
that's on
see
my
the
bucket
Keys.
list.
I mean, it's only 4 hours from me, a straight shot. So, I mean, why not? I've
Literally.
never been,
Mm, I'd
but
love to go
down
there.
down in Key West, there
Hmm.
is Fort East Martello Museum.
Or I've heard of this place, I think.
Okay, so this is the home to the OG macabre Florida man,
Hmm.
Robert the Haunted Doll.
Oh, see, yeah. Okay. Oh, you
Now,
you gotta go
for
there then,
for
buddy.
people who have no idea what the hell I'm talking about,
You have to go.
this doll was the inspiration for Annabelle.
True story, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, Robert the Haunted Doll was a gift given to the late artist Robert Eugene Otto.
Mm-hmm.
And as a boy, Otto would blame the doll for all sorts of mischief. But the whole thing morphed from a cute little Calvin and Hobbes riff into something far more sinister.
Oof.
Now, some say the raggedy, weathered little sailor doll is cursed. Obviously, they say the same thing about Annabelle.
Yes. Annabelle is notorious, and so is Rob,
Hmm.
but very, very notorious.
Now, as a doll, nowadays this wouldn't seem out of the ordinary, but back then this is very, very creepy and strange. The doll is reported to change facial expressions from time to time, and he lets
Ooh.
out little giggles.
Oh, time out on the field. That would creep the hell out of me. As a seasoned investigator such as myself, hearing something like that come from a doll that they say are vessels that keep spirits. That's why a lot of dolls and stuff move around because they can get possessed so easily. It's like a jar where the
Yes.
trapped spirit or the evil demonic, sometimes, the benigns, will fit into the doll and then boom, and it's creepy, man. But to hear this thing to giggle or ooh.
Well, that's not all. It's been said that he can cause endless pain and suffering to people who disrespect him by taking his photo.
Let me send a photo to my ex-girlfriend. Oh, sorry.
Which sucks, you know? He's the centerpiece of a museum.
Ooh.
So, I mean, come on. You're gonna take a picture of it.
There just to be clear, there are certain now you could take it whatever the way you want to take it, a grain of salt or grain of sand, but there are many steps you should do or try to do prior to try taking pictures. You have to ask to take a
Ask
picture,
permission
ask
and
him permission. I know it sounds really silly for those who are like, what? Ask a doll for permission.
for those that are skeptics,
Yes.
it's
But
hard to understand that this is not something that you play around with.
no.
This is not something to take lightly
It's
because I mean, just because you don't believe doesn't mean it's not real.
correct. I mean, it's something that you should do a lot of research in and then go from there. So don't just
Exactly.
go in there with that mindset like, oh, this is just a effing doll. Just heed our warnings. Just read some history about it before you step forward. I am not responsible for what happens, but just saying you should read the information before anything happens. Before taking a step towards that area. But man, it makes out giggles and stuff. Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
I yeah, I wouldn't do it. Just your neighbor to the north, which I like, but it's not in Savannah. If I had to move to the south, Savannah would be the place, or New Orleans, one of the two. The place I'm thinking about is in Georgia, obviously. Oakland Cemetery. Now, this is outside Atlanta. Atlanta's huge. For those who have never been, it's a driver's nightmare.
I was about to say it's a freaking nightmare trying to drive through it.
It's oof.
6 lanes on each side.
And
That's
let
all
me
I have to
tell you,
say.
yeah, you will be white knuckling through the whole ride. Good luck to you.
You think 2 to 3 lanes is bad? Don't go to Atlanta.
No, those are nothing. Those are nothing burgers compared to Atlanta. Trust me. Indianapolis, yeah, you're up on that bucket too. Let me tell you, that
Yeah,
was
that's just scary too.
how it goes around up in a hill, it goes around Oakland Cemetery in Georgia. This is outside Atlanta. Was built in 1850, which is a good time frame. I have cemeteries around me that are in that time frame, even older
Yeah.
than that, which is really crazy. It is the city's oldest and slash largest cemetery, among the most haunted places in Georgia, buddy. Believe it or not. There's Menard Jackson, there's Bobby Jones, Margaret Mitchell. That's just a few of the people who are resting there comfortably. It even includes a Confederate branch where visitors insist they have seen uniformed soldiers wandering the grounds and even hanging off of trees, of all things. Now let that steep in your mind for a second. Hanging off of trees. Now, were they hung? Or they're
I
just
mean, this is back in the time when hanging was
mm-hmm.
acceptable.
It's sad, isn't it? But I mean now there's a lot of people who have confirmed or allegedly have said that they've heard Confederate Army roll calls among other the tombstones and sworn that their names were called amid the list. So I'd be like, honey foo foo. I mean,
That's scary.
that would be scary to hear your name. I mean, it's creepy as it is to hear a name come from a disembodied body speaking loudly, but to hear your own name or your studio name, if you will, I mean, it's
I
like,
mean, especially if it was like my name, because back then they did not take women into the military.
but there were military who acted as men, cut their hair and
True.
everything, which is cool, I guess. It happens, but but your name is unique, so Bunny is unique.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if that was thrown out there, it'd be like, I'm getting the hell out of here.
I my name is fairly common, not too much common anymore, but I've heard my name called before in a cemetery and EVP sessions, and I mean, it's kind of it's weird. Like, what are the chances of thousands of names or synonyms or
Yeah.
anything in that sort, and then you actually you're laying down the real name is like, wow, that's effed up. Yeah.
Well, how
Mm.
about for the last one, we take it somewhere really pretty?
Well, let's go pretty.
Let's go to an island,
Okay.
our own island, the island of Hawaii on the Big Island. Now, when I think Hawaii, I think hibiscus, I think of the leis, I think of hula dances, tiki torches.
The only place you can say I got laid and nobody really looks at you funny.
Exactly. Now, Hawaii is home to fiery luau's, which that when like I said, when I think Hawaii, first things that pop into mind, you know, pounding drums, native chants, torches, all of
Grass
which are awesome
skirts,
when
volcanic
the
eruption.
dancers are alive.
Oh, hell no, you didn't.
Not so awesome when they're the ghosts of ancient warriors marching through the island, armed to the teeth.
Ooh. Oh, no.
But those are the night marchers, legendary spirits who roam the island in an eternal march to battle. Most longtime locals have stories about encountering them, most specific spots spread throughout the island. The creepiest of all of them is Waipio Valley. And I probably butchered that, but it's on the northern shore of the Big Island in Hawaii. Though the
Okay.
park has seen some of the most iconic scenic lookouts, the pounding beats and chants of the night marchers echo especially loud through the valley when the night marchers decide to join you for a hike.
Oh, that'd be weird and
That
scary.
would be crazy.
Oh, man. Can you imagine that? Like you're just up at night and all of a sudden there's like others around you and surrounded you and but you know they're not living, but you feel like they are living, but they're not. I had something like that happen to me back in when I went to island north of me, and it's known to be haunted with Indian. It's a Indian burial island, but the Civil War, Revolutionary War soldiers have been seen there numerous times. And like I've said this before, I think when we were talking about this last time, I talked about how I captured what looks like on video soldiers, like crab walking with bayonet guns. There
Pretty
was
much
three of them.
sneaking.
Yes, they're crab walking, like shuffling, but crouched and just crawling. It scared the hell out of me. I looked through the webcam and I could see it, but I looked down I couldn't see it. It was pitch black. I mean, it was blacker than black. You couldn't see, your nose and your hand in front of your nose because it was so dark. Because you're on an island, there's one part
Yeah,
it's pitch black. The stars are like in your eyeball. But man, was that creepy, foo. I ain't kidding you when I say that.
I bet.
Waipool Valley. Can you imagine that?
Unfortunately, we're probably gonna have to pick this one
Yeah,
up again next week
we are at the top
because
of the hour.
we're only on the eyes.
That would be. Oh yeah, we got to definitely touch base next week. We'll
Because
continue this one.
there's some really cool stuff in here.
Mm. I would love to go and do this again. We should. We are at the top of
Absolutely.
the hour of the Megabyte podcast. Now, coming up this hour after the break, we're going to be discussing some cool gadgets. And these are some really cool little things I didn't know it existed, but like
Right?
it's
Like I was looking
technology.
through the list and I was like, oh my god, that'd be great.
It would be great, but stuff like that I didn't know existed, but now it does.
Yes.
You guys are listening to the Megabyte Podcast Show. We will be right back after these messages.